Tonight, we are going to try a bottle that I'm really excited about. I've had it for a while. We haven't gotten around to trying it. But it's one of those wonderful things because I'm in a whiskey club. I get to go pick this up and I pick them up every time I can. And that is from our good friends over at New Riff. So this
That would
is
have been my guess.
the Old New Riff. But this is a throwback to older grain styles, kind of ancient pre-prohibition style stuff. They got a huge write-up, but basically they used, and Chuck is going to laugh at this because I'm going to say it wrong, blue claridge and yellow lemon corn. I don't know.
Works
Sure.
for me.
So those are older corn variants, heirloom corn, and then they did Balboa rye, which if you've not had their Balboa rye, it's amazing. But they mix that in here, and then they did two row malted barley, so it comes out at 60% corn, 26% rye, and 14% malted barley. So a good mash bill. It is at least 6 years old, and it does carry the bottled and bond statement. So all of that was done in the same distilling season, everything like that. So yeah, $55 available at the distillery, supposedly limited quantities nationwide, all of that fun stuff. But again, New Riff, once again, 6 years, $55. I mean, you can't beat that. So
No, and we've liked some of the heirloom grains.
yeah,
Certainly the Balboa rye is a fantastic rye, and then you picked up the corn
yep,
last year.
I've got both the corn variants.
Yep, and I thought they were very good.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had anything bad from them, which is why when they're like, "Hey, you want to join this free whiskey club and we will sell you bottles nobody else can get." I'm just like, "Yes, yes, please." And I will gladly pay you. So I do believe this and the rye version of this is still available at the distillery. If you go there, they for sure have it for samples at their Aquifer tasting bar and everything like that. But I mean, we haven't gone wrong with New Rift yet. So let's see if this is the one.
We will be the judge.
Yep. It smells like bourbon.
That's what the people come here for.
Very like vanilla and oaky.
Yeah, pretty. Um, I'd say that, yeah, not overly powering. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
a little bit of oak, a little bit of ethanol, a little bit of vanilla,
Mhm.
but I'd say fairly subdued.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of a heavy corn. I mean, this is a high rye mash bill, but it's almost sometimes those corn whiskeys can just be kind of sweet. A
Yeah. Yeah. There's not a lot going on the nose.
little bit of like oaky popcorn.
I like that. It's good. I wish there was a little brown sugar on there, but there's not. There's a sweetness.
It's like sweet perfume. You
Yeah.
get this like this floral note. Maybe coming from the Balboa rye or the higher rye.
Yeah. You definitely get the rye finish on this thing, like the oak and the pepper and the spice just bam at the end.
I think this is like, and I'm going to say this word, which generally is a very negative connotation for me, but this is good grain.
Oh, okay. I like it.
Like I'm getting a little bit of the grains. It's like the maybe some, like I said, I mentioned the popcorn on the nose, but it's um even comes through, I think, a little bit in the palate, but it's like a well balanced. It gives you some floral notes. It gives you a little bit of sweet, and then the grain is an enhancer, not a hey, this is just dry, doughy grain in your face,
Yeah.
which comes with youngness. Like I don't get that. This is a to me, it's enhancing the whiskey.
flavor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would say I think popcorn is a really good descriptor. Like I'm the type that when I make popcorn, we throw all types of stuff on it. Lots of butter, lots of seasoning and things like that. But you still have that popcorn taste running through it. And that's what this is like. So it's not by any means the predominant note, but it's definitely just kind of there through the whole thing. But that, like, first sip, that sweetness just punches you in the face. And then there's, yeah, like you said, those floral notes. I mean, if I did this in a blind, I might think it's Four Roses, to be honest.
Mm. Yeah, I think that's a great comparison with that floral note. And then also that rye finish, that high rye finish, like it is a
Yeah.
spicy, it builds um, in a really good way.
Hmm.
Generally, I have opinions on heirloom grain. I think most of the time it's marketing, and it's not done well, at least the ones that I've had. The Bloody Butchers, or there's another red corn, maybe out of South Carolina. I can't remember the name of that one, but I think most of the time it's for show, for marketing. Um,
Yeah.
and frankly, those things are very much a challenge to grow. Very low yielding varieties. And yeah, plant breeders. We've scientists have done some work in the last 100 years, in a good way. Like we've
Oh,
made
yeah.
things resist diseases and stand um, different climatic conditions and be more stable in different environments. And it's like all those things are good. Now, perhaps some of these heirloom grains give you some oils or different protein to oil ratios that could be beneficial the in distillation for sure. It's not like most of the time plant breeders haven't focused on selecting for characteristics that enhance the quality of whiskey. That's not a breeding target.
Yeah.
So some things could have been lost over time. So I think that's either way, whether it's marketing or not, this is a well done.
Yeah.
This is well done. And we, like I said, we've loved the Balboa rye in the past. And then we liked the new Riff corns
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah. Could you imagine trying to breed corn for whiskey though? Like, because you get on the sweet corn like feedback constantly, but like
Yeah.
you do it and it's like, okay, you, you won't know for four
Wait
years,
10
but
years. Yeah. It might be as bad as being a tree breeder, right? Like you
yeah,
don't you make your crosses and then it's like, well, we'll see what this does in 5 years or 10 years.
yeah. Oh my gosh,
Kind
that'd
of
be
similar. Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Very slow genetic gain with that type of selection cycle. You'd have to figure out markers for basically like new make, like look
Yeah.
at the compounds that are present in that new make and
Well, yeah.
see
And
how
then,
that translates to final quality. Yeah.
yeah. And then the weather cycle not only is affecting your corn, but the weather cycle is going to affect your bourbon. So you can only make it once. That's it.
Yeah, and it's like, well, it's the same thing with wine too, right? Like it's all subjective at the end of the day. So it's
Yeah.
not like, most of the time we're saying we want to improve yield. There's not just one metric that you're going to change. There's what 46 different compounds that make up flavor profiles in a
Yeah.
whiskey. Like how are you? And well, a lot of those come from wood, but the interaction of the spirit with the wood. But
Well, I mean, for $55, I think once again, New Rift is doing something cool, exciting, and tastes good. I think if you want to try one of the heirloom grain releases or whatever, you can't really anymore. It's hard to beat $55 and a quality whiskey, let alone a 6-year product. Uh, I think it's perfectly marketed. I think it's perfectly priced. I think it's really good whiskey. Like I don't really have any complaints.
yeah, I know this isn't a 4 grain, but I just think back to Fred Minnick and him promoting the 4 grain out of French Lick. And it was
Yeah.
just like I stuck my face in a mash. Um, I really just did not like it at all.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't a 4 grain, but to me, like this brings elements of the grain without well-rounded, smooth notes.
Yeah.
With some of those sweet bourbon notes with a great rye finish. To me, this is maybe I did like it's not necessarily an heirloom, but I did like the blue corn whiskey from Balcones. But
Yeah,
this might be my favorite. Maybe it is my favorite. I'm gonna say this is my favorite heirloom whiskey.
there we go. And of course, there will be more coming from New Riff in the future. Apparently, they're doing a biscuit malt coming up. It just got filed in the TTB. Don't ask me. And I will of course buy that because I'm in the whiskey club and everything is good so far that we've tried. Uh, so keep an eye out. Probably next year we'll have a review on that. But if you don't have a bottle of New Riff, please do yourself a favor, pick it up. Um, yeah. Cheers. See you next time.
Stay neat.